Hey y'all, welcome to Shades of Brown, the podcast that discusses the ever-evolving and sometimes contradicting thoughts of a Black millennial. I'm your host, AlyB, and I'm grateful that you are here with me for another episode. If this is your first one, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you stick around. So I want to chat about therapists, white therapists, Black therapists. Does it matter the race of your therapist? I think it does. I initially was going to create this episode to let you guys know that I had a change of heart since season one. Season one, I released one episode in two parts called Jesus in Therapy. And in the second part of the episode, I shared about the importance of having a Black therapist if you were Black because of cultural competency. And I still stand on that. My latest experience with my latest therapist changed a few things about how I feel about that. So I wanna unpack that a bit and let y'all know why I had a change of heart, but now I'm back at square one where I began. Like between the time I had the change of heart and now, I'm right back where I was in season one. Before we unpack it though, I'm thinking about putting the Shades of Dating segment in the beginning, so let's try it out here. Shades of Dating. This is a segment where me and or my guests will share stories that just further verify that the dating pool has piss in it. Today though, I'm gonna blast myself. I want so badly to just be this like super sexy girl, with like this sex appeal and it's just super swaggy and like smooth and all the things, right? But y'all, I'm just clumsy and goofy. And it just doesn't always work out for me. And I was thinking about this, like, I be tripping sometimes. Quite literally, actually. I'm gonna tell y'all about a few times that I've like been trying to be sexy on a date and then I was just not. There was this one time I was dating a guy and he had came over for a date. It was during the beginning of COVID. This was early COVID days. So we were still like, figuring out how to virtually date or date at home. So I made like, I had a taco night for us where we made like street tacos at home. It was really, really cute. I had like the whole spread. It was so, 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 so cute, y'all. Um, and all was going well. All was going well until we like, we're done with dinner and we're just like chilling in the living room. We go to sit down, I had drinks for us. Like I even had homemade margaritas, y'all. Everything was just so good. It was going so well. Like it really was. And those margaritas I made were bomb. But that's probably why I ended up being clumsy. Anyways, we go to sit down, and I'm trying to be super cute with my cute drink. And I end up dropping my drink and breaking the glass. It shattered everywhere. I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. Totally killed the vibe. I'm like, man, why does it have to be me? Like, I want to be somebody else right now. And I'm just not, it's just not working. And this has happened. Things like this have happened multiple times to me. Another time I was clumsy was, this is another guy, and I think this is like our first date. Well, it was our second date, and he took me to. It was a fabulous date, in my opinion. I don't know how he felt about it, but whatever. It was a fabulous date for me. And after dinner, he took me to this really, really nice bar, and we're just sitting, chilling, talking. It was super cute in there. Vibes, drinks. It was just a vibe, and the drinks were so cute that I'm like, oh, let me like, the drinks were so cute that I was like, oh, snap, let me take a picture. Like, this is super cute. I probably won't ever post it, but it was just super cute, the whole vibe. So I get my phone out, which was probably like not a good idea thinking back, like, girl, whatever. But I take my phone out, try and snap pictures of the drinks, and I drop my phone. The phone just flies out of my hand, and I was looking cute, so I have on this super super tight short skirt. So I'm not about to bend over trying to get this phone. So I'm like, I'm stuck. He's like, should I get it? I'm like, yes. Could you please? Could you please? Because it like flew out of my hand, flew under a seat somewhere. It was bad. This same night. So when we leave the bar, when we leave, he opens the door, to go outside, and he literally tells me like, watch your steps. Watch your step. I don't know what I heard. I know I heard him. I know I heard him say that. Tell me why I still tripped. Like I be trying to be cute and it just don't be working. Oh my gosh, y'all. This date. So see, as I break it down, maybe, maybe this is one of the reasons why things didn't work out with him because I kept trying to figure out like what happened with that. Like that was a fabulous date to me. But now I'm like, because a third thing happened. A third thing happened on this same date. So we get to the next spot and I love conversation cards. Because again, I'm goofy and I'm dorky and I'm nerdy and I'm corny and I like conversation cards. So I had conversation cards for us. So I had him grab them, right? From my car. And so he gets the cards and then, hands them to me. So now we're walking up steps to go inside. And while we're walking up the steps, the cards just like fall out my hand. Maybe I was just tipsy. I don't know. But this big old card game just falls down the steps. And I'm like, I'm not going back down the steps with these heels on. So I'm so sorry, sir. But could you get those, please? So, yeah, child. We didn't have any more dates after that. He was a great guy. He is still a great guy. I don't know. Maybe that's why things didn't work out because I was really clumsy on that date, just dropping stuff and tripping. And he literally said, "Watch your step." So, yeah, the dating pool has pee in it, but sometimes it be us. Yeah. So, let's unpack it. So, like I said, I had a change of heart about Black folks needing Black therapists, and I began to lean on the side of, well, maybe it doesn't matter. And this is how I got to that place. Earlier this year, I decided to look into getting a psychological evaluation in order to determine if there is some sort of neurodivergence happening, some sort of development disorder that I may have, possibly, potentially, whether it's ADHD or something similar to that, or I don't know, dyslexia, dyscalculia, something. I just need to figure it out, whatever it may be. Well, I learned that the only way to get that done is to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Therapists, counselors, licensed professional counselors, all the different acronyms. There are tons of therapists, social workers, whatever. They are phenomenal, but they don't have the ability to, or they don't all, I don't believe, have the ability to give psychological evaluations. Only a psychologist can do that or a psychiatrist. And also, they're the only ones who can prescribe medication if need be. So I found myself needing a new therapist slash psychologist because my current one was not a psychologist. She, I believe, is a LPC, licensed professional counselor. So I go on the search, and long story short, it was incredibly difficult to find a Black psychologist. So I was like, you know what? Well, maybe I just broaden my search. Maybe for this piece of it, for the sake of getting evaluated, maybe it doesn't matter, and we'll just go from there. So I ended up with a new psychologist who was a white woman. And she actually ended up being great. I liked her because she had a different outlook on life. She had a different perspective. And I believe that's something that she just had a different perspective. And she had this like abundance mindset. In our conversations, she seemed to not have any limit on options or resources. It was just like there's always a different avenue. She was just very much about like, let's just figure it out. There is a solution to this. And I really appreciated that. She helped me like not care so much, I think it's my observation and experience that a lot of us Black folks, especially Black women, we take on the burden of the whole community. We even sometimes feel that we even sometimes feel the need to like represent the whole community. Like for example, many of you maybe when you go out to restaurants, you probably tip more because you feel the need to debunk the myth that Black folks don't tip. You have solely, individually taken on this responsibility to make sure Black folks look good. Like you want to, I don't know, just whatever. That's just a small example of how we sometimes carry the burden of a whole community or whatever. And this therapist, this psychologist, she just had this very like, who cares, And I appreciated that because, yeah. She also, she helped me see the beauty in being individualistic in certain things. I understand I am a community oriented person and understand and believe that we should all be that way. I'm not here to preach, socialism or anything like that, but I think community is important. Community, especially for me, is a core value, right? But she helped me see the beauty in and the necessity in being individualistic. And that helped me. That helped me a ton. And she was the one, if you follow me on social media over the summer, you may have seen a post where I talked about my therapist giving me this idea to kind of just wander and frolic and gallivant around, until I figure out next steps. She was one to push me out of my comfort zone, but in regards to a certain move I wasn't ready to make, she was good about, figuring out, well, what is an alternative? So because I wasn't ready to move yet, but also desperately needed to change my situation, she was like, well, how about you just don't make a decision right now? You don't have to make a decision. Like, these things shouldn't be stressing you out. So instead of getting stressed out about where to go next, what to do next, just go from city to city and book an Airbnb and, stay there for a while, a week or 2 or 3, and see if you like it and go from there. And when you find your people, you find that your purpose thrives in this place, and you find that, you become alive in this place, you can dream again in this place, then maybe that's your place. And I had just never thought of that. Like, I don't know that I would have ever thought of or had that idea. I don't know that I would have ever had the idea to just go from city to city, hop around and kind of be this nomad. And I know that's a thing now. Being a digital nomad is a thing. A lot of us work remotely, so we can just get up and go and work from anywhere. So we're not tied to one location. And I am thankful and very grateful that I have the ability to work from anywhere. So yeah, like she gave me a lot in a little time. And that one tip, that one piece of advice was a game changer. It changed everything. It was such a breakthrough for me to say, okay, I may not be ready just yet to move, but something's got to give. And that has helped me a ton. My first city I chose to visit for a week was Birmingham. I, of course, spent a lot of time in Atlanta. And I plan on, I'm going to New York soon, then going to Charlotte soon, and a couple cities, after that, just to kick it, And I just would have not thought of that. I would have just been, stuck in the belief that I was stuck, like just woe is me and this is terrible, yada, yada, yada. But she always had a way of showing me that I have options. So yeah, she even like helped me with like podcast stuff. She was like, look into this and this is how you can get funded. And she just had great advice and gave me a better way to think about things and to perceive things. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Like working with her, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make an episode about like, I've had a change of heart. Like maybe this helps, because they have such a different outlook, than a lot of us do. But let me tell you why I'm back at square one. Let me tell you why. Right back at where I was and how I felt in season 1 on the episode I did called Jesus in Therapy. This white therapist, after, all the help she gave me, all the amazing advice she gave me, she ended up dropping me as a client. She dropped me as a client because it was her policy to do so if the client cancels twice in a row with no heads up. Cool. Totally cool with your policy. It would have been nice to know that was your policy, though. If you're going to be so adamant about, a policy that you have, it would be nice to inform your clients of that. There was one day that I canceled day of. I forgot why, but I had to cancel day of, and I rescheduled for the very next week. Fast forward several weeks, maybe even months, and I had to cancel day of again. What I would typically do is I would try and see her during my lunch, because she didn't have any evening availability. So, I'm trying to get a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or whatever, and I'll work my lunch around that. Well, this particular day, some meetings got rescheduled at work, and I had a meeting that overlapped with my therapy appointment. And I was going back and forth about how to figure it all out. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to stress about this. I'm just going to reschedule this therapy appointment. We can get back to this next week. I gotta be at this meeting, whatever. Well, the meeting just happened to be rescheduled 30 minutes before my therapy appointment. So I'm like, dang, I hate to cancel, but it's no problem. She'll understand. I'm going to let her know why I canceled, but I'm going to go ahead and reschedule for next week. I cancel and reschedule before I can finish writing her the note explaining, why I'm so sorry I had to cancel last minute. This is why, but I went ahead and rescheduled. Before I can do that, she's like, hey, what's going on? This is your second time doing this. In my mind, I'm just like, yeah, my second time, but we've been seeing each other for months. It's not like I've done this twice in a row, twice in 2 weeks, or it's the first time I did that was months ago, but whatever. Yeah, I had to cancel work. I had a work meeting rescheduled, but I went ahead and, booked my next appointment for next week. And she sends me a note back, pretty much it's my policy to refer a client out to another provider after they have canceled, after they have a last minute cancellation for the second time. And she, said a bunch of stuff, blah, 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 yada, 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 that, in order for this to work, I have to be consistent and show up and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I respect your policy, but I would have for sure figured out a way to accommodate our appointment if I knew that was your policy. I didn't know. What? And she gave me no room for negotiation to figure things out, to say possibly, oh, this is just a misunderstanding and I got it for next time. It won't be a next time. And if there is a next time, that's on me. No room, no grace, just done. And then had the nerve to, follow up with me to make sure I've got another provider. Sis, why you worried? Why you worried about me? Don't, you drop me as a client. Don't worry about who my new therapist is or what. No. No. Don't be concerned now, sis. And I'm like, wait, how I get broke up with by a therapist? That's a whole other layer of rejection. And for someone who is in recovery from rejection and abandonment issues, I thought it was incredibly insensitive. And that thing hurt me. It hurt my feelings. It hurt me because I'm just like, dang, I had been so shut off, from even the possibility or the idea of reaching out to a right therapist because of all these reasons, right? And I get to this point where I was a bit desperate to find a psychologist, and I end up doing this, and we have this great experience, so my guard's all coming down, and then boom, the therapist break up with me. And I'm like, See, this what I be talking about. This is exactly what I be talking about. Like, man, again, I'm not asking her. I was never asking her to, I don't know. Like I said, I respect her policy. She can have whatever policy. Just let your clients know. If I'm going to be held accountable to a policy, it would be nice to know it exists. So yeah, y'all, I'm back at square one because this is the third white woman to try me. The third white therapist to try me. The first one was my very, 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 very first therapist ever when I was out living in Utah back in 2018. It was my first time going to therapy, and I was like, all right, here I go. And I get in there, and by the end of the first session, she's so enamored by my blackness and my black experience and how my black experience plays into my need for therapy, being, a young black woman in this super duper white space. And she was just so like confused at how much that mattered to my mental well-being. And she was like, I need to look into this more. And it was almost like I was going to be a study case or a case study. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to come in here helping you and teaching you and enlightening you. That's not how this is going to work. No, if that happens to happen during the course of our time together, then so be it. But what you ain't going to do is use me as some weird, like, I don't know. It was just strange. So that I did that real quick. And the second time I had an encounter with a white therapist was when I was searching for someone for me and my mom to go to therapy and see together. And I've shared about how much of an epic fail that was. And that particular white therapist, she was the most insensitive therapist I've ever encountered. She said some remarks that I felt were insulting and downright just, I don't know. I was straight up triggered in that session. Like, man, triggered. And let me be clear. Going to therapy is going to trigger you. That's gonna happen. I don't care how amazing they are. You're gonna be triggered. Things are gonna come up, right? Wounds are going to be addressed and dug up and all the things. But I'm talking about like this therapist was just straight up disrespectful and was projecting her own stuff onto me. She was using examples like, well, when I was in a situation or my dad or I was like, hey, I'm not here to hear about your stuff. I came here for your expertise. I came here for your profession. I didn't come in here to kiki with another woman who's going through similar things. I don't care about that. I came in here for your medical, assistance and help. Like, you are a medical provider. Do that. And not a medical provider because it's not about medicine, but like a health provider. You are a health provider. Provide health. Provide something other than what you're dishing out. That was that, and I was all the way shut down by then. So this third time around, at first it was like, oh snap, this is a pleasant surprise. I did, have to watch what I said because again, there were cultural barriers, like in the way I talk, I had to adjust it in order to accommodate her because she may not understand what I'm saying if I say, I don't know. But yeah, there were for sure cultural barriers, and I absolutely caught myself before I said nigga a couple times in session. You know how I be just like, man, nigga, but I can't say it to her. So those were things I had to overcome. But other than that, I thought it would be a very good experience. But nah, child, I'm back to what I said in the episode. Cultural competency matters. We need, and again, if you got a white therapist already and you love them, continue, okay? Continue. But for those who, you have struggled to find a great therapist, to find someone who truly, truly, truly gets you, look for somebody Black, okay? There are cultural things that you should not have to explain going into therapy. As a matter of fact, therapy is supposed to be a safe space where you can, put all your guards down and a place where you're seeking assistance. It shouldn't be a place where you're afraid that you're going to be harmed, where it's like, okay, I can deal with this part of some stuff. I can get some healing over here, but over here I'm going to be wounded. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not how it should work, where, we're going to fix one thing, but we come out with something else broke. No, that's not how it should be. And I'm not saying that therapists are, freaking angels and they're gods. No, they are human. They are flawed. However, they have a certain expertise that we should be able to benefit from without leaving the place traumatized or re-traumatized or triggered in a place where we're back at, on ground zero or square one. Because I promise you, bro, like her dropping me as a client, like she was helping me through not a breakup, but a dating situation where I was struggling with like it ending in a way where I didn't understand why it ended, and I did feel rejected. And she knew this, like she knew my history. And I'm like, fam, what? So yeah, y'all, get you somebody black. Get you somebody black. Okay. There are a plethora of Black therapists who are amazing. And I'm grateful, that folks to this day still reach out to me, like, hey, where should I start? I'm looking for a therapist. I don't know where to begin. Or, hey, Britt, or hey, Allison, I started therapy and this is how it's going. I love when I get those kinds of calls, messages, text messages, DMs, whatever. It makes my heart happy. And I'm gonna, keep encouraging y'all, because heck, if you are a human, you need therapy. That's just that, especially if you're Black. We were born into trauma. Black Americans were. If you are listening and you are somewhere other than America, maybe that doesn't apply to you. If you are Black outside of America, that may not apply to you. Well, if you are Black and you live and you were born in Africa, maybe that don't apply to you. But Black folks everywhere else, we got there due to some unfortunate circumstances, So a lot of us have, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And because we were born into it, we don't see nothing wrong with it, because it's how we live our lives, especially Black Americans in the South, trauma is just in our DNA. And unfortunately, we are the ones responsible to, heal from that stuff, or at least do our best to understand ourselves and become self-aware and emotionally intelligent and emotionally aware, in order for us to show up in spaces whole and authentic and, like I said, aware. So yeah, if you don't have a therapist, I encourage you to find one, and to find a Black one. To find a Black one, so you can go in there and not have to worry about teaching them how to service you. There's a language that we speak, and I think that it matters that our therapists speak that same language. And let me be clear. I'm this way when it comes to all healthcare providers. If you are in a space where you can get a Black doctor, get a Black primary physician, a Black dentist, a Black chiropractor, a Black OBGYN, a Black whatever, do that. Do that. Because it is proven over and over and over that Black folks do not get the same health care as our white and other minority counterparts. It's fact. It's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. We don't get the same health care. So we need people in there who are advocating for us, who understand our language, who understand our pain, who understand what we need, so that, we have a better shot at all the things, at our overall well-being. So yeah, y'all, I thought this was going to be about me having a change of heart, but I don't know. I need me a Black therapist. So yeah, there's that. That's all I got. Oh, I do want to tell you this though. If you're looking for a therapist and you're still struggling, for starters, if you have insurance, search your insurance network. And Psychology Today is a great resource when it comes to finding therapists and psychologists and counselors and psychiatrists of things. And there's a site called Therapy for Black Girls. There is a social, they're on social media. They also have a website where you can, go through the directory. They have a ton of resources. They have a ton of resources in regards to mental health professionals who are Black women. And if you are a man looking for a Black woman as a therapist, go on that, use that as a resource as well. There are, a couple of apps that have virtual therapy. I won't say their names because they are not sponsoring this episode. But it's options out there, y'all. And I follow a ton of amazing therapists. If you're in Tennessee, look into Courtney Clardy. She is a licensed counselor. If you are in Georgia, look into, oh Lord, what's her name? I think on Instagram, her name is Your Social Work Coach. And I think her name is Rajanique Ruffin. So if you're in Georgia, that's somebody for you. Again, if you're in Tennessee, Latanya Cox is one. If you're in Utah, look into Letitia Golub. I think that's her name. Or what's that other girl's name? I'm just saying random names, for random places, because I'm sure I have listeners in those spots. But wherever you are, if you are in America, out of America, if you are in Canada, the UK, if you are in Alaska, if you are in Hawaii, if you are in Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, Virginia, wherever, look for a therapist. If all things in your life are going well, find a therapist. If your life is falling apart, get a therapist. If your relationship is just cupcakes and candles and bubbles and sunshine, get a therapist. Like, listen, get you a therapist. I don't care where you are in life. They'll help you figure things out and, help you keep your emotional toolkit ready. So yes, that is all I have for y'all. Take that as you will. So on to brownie points. This is a segment where we take a moment to celebrate ourselves for a recent victory. That victory can be a tiny victory. It could be a major victory. But over here, we celebrate all the wins. Every win counts. Every victory matters. So I'm giving myself brownie points for second guessing myself a little bit less every day at work. So I'm certain many of you can relate, but being at work, I don't know, like it oftentimes takes me a long time to respond to emails or whatever, because I want to get the response right. I want to have the perfect solution. And I'm oftentimes afraid to make a mistake. But lately I've been doing better about trusting myself, being confident in my skill set, my education, my knowledge, my history, and just like doing what I do, and in the event that I make a mistake, I trust that someone will catch it, they will bring it to my attention, and I will have the opportunity to correct it. And we go from there. And that's just that. Regardless if I've been in the game 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years, we're going to make mistakes on the job, and we have the chance to correct them, right? It's not a big deal. So I am proud that I've been doing better about trusting myself and responding quicker and not second guessing myself, because self-doubt ain't cute. So yeah, what are you giving yourself brownie points for? If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to comment below and let me know what you're giving yourself brownie points for. If you are listening on Apple or Podbean or Spotify or another audio platform, head over to social media and get in my comments and let me know what you're giving yourself brownie points for. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. I thank you for tuning in again. And yeah, so if you could please follow me on social media, you can find me at Shades of Brown Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And if you would like to buy some podcast merch, I would love for you to do that. You can visit everythingalyb.myspreadshop.com, or you can just click the link in my bio on Instagram or Facebook and it'll take you there. If you would like to support the podcast in ways that do not cost you any money, I got you. You can subscribe to my mailing list. by clicking the link in my bio. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. If you're watching on YouTube, just click subscribe. You're already here. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can head over there and either look up Shades of Brown Podcast, but my YouTube channel is called Everything AlyB. Click subscribe and become a part of the notification gang. And of course, you could always leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I would greatly appreciate that. That really, really helps. And of course, sharing this podcast with your community. So sharing it to your stories, sharing it in the group chat. Wherever you share good news, share Shades of Brown. If you want to start a podcast, but you're just not sure where to start, click the link in my bio and schedule some time with me. You can schedule a free consultation and I'll help you get started. I do some consulting around that. So I would love to help you because your voice matters too. Your voice is needed as well. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in and supporting Shades of Brown. And as always, I'd like to leave you with this. I hope that you be well, love well, and be loved well. That's my prayer for you because I believe you deserve that. So until next time, bye.